Very good morning. Very good morning. In today's video lecture, I will explain regarding the what you call as maximum output power and efficiency of a Klystron oscillator. In the last video lecture, I was been discussing regarding the modes of oscillation of a reflex Klystron oscillator, and you can see that normally the modes occurs from n equal to 1 to n equal to 6, and in practical application normally we are taking the modes in between n equal to 2 and 3 in order to obtain the maximum output power. Okay, so let me proceed with the continuation of the last video lecture in order to calculate the output power and efficiency of a reflex Klystron oscillator. I write here power output and efficiency. Power output and efficiency of a reflex Klystron oscillator. So as I told you in the previous section that the power output will be maximum, that means the output power will be maximum when the electron bunch is made to appear at any of the positive peak of the RF cycle, because you can see that in the graph itself I have indicated that between the positive peaks of the RF cycle the electron bunch is being occurring. So the maximum output power will be obtained at that section only. That is why I told you the output power is maximum when the electron bunch is made to appear in any of the positive peak of the RF cycle. So the maximum output power, then you will get the maximum efficiency, that is depending upon various parameters. Let me see that one. First of all, let me describe the various parameter that is being or the efficiency which is being depending upon the various parameter of reflex Klystron. So I will write that point, the initial point with respect to the output power is that what I will write, the power output, the power, as I told you, the power output is maximum when the electron bunch is made to appear, as I told you, is made to appear at any of the positive peaks, any of the positive peaks of the RF cycle, any of the positive peaks of the RF cycle. So the maximum output power, hence you have the maximum efficiency, right? Maximum output power. So I will write this. I will write as hence maximum efficiency. Okay, hence maximum efficiency. So which depends on, as I told you, which depends on various parameters. Okay, So, in order to calculate the output power and efficiency, I have to keep in mind some of the assumptions related to the that we have to make in order to calculate the output power and efficiency of a what you call as a reference klystron oscillator. So, the assumption is the first assumption, I will write a 5 assumption related to this one. The first assumption is, as I told you, what you call as that is in the steady state condition, your sustained RF gap peak voltage, I will explain that as V1. Okay, the sustained RF gap peak voltage V1 that is assumed to be small compared to the DC beam voltage or the anode voltage VA. That is, I will write that one in steady state. In steady state, the sustained RF gap peak voltage, I will call this as gap peak voltage, which is nothing but V1, is assumed that is to be small, compared to what? Compared to the DC beam voltage, or I can call it as an anode voltage or anode voltage. I call this as V of A, that is V1 less than V of A. Okay. The second assumption of what I will write is you are having the cathode, you are having the grid, you are having the ripple electrode. So, all the surface, that is the surface of cathode, grid and the ripple electrodes, are all assumed to be plane, parallel to each other, and also assumed to be large surface. Okay. That is surface of cathode, next is grid and ripple voltage. It is not ripple voltage, ripple electrode, sorry, ripple electrode. They are all small, they are all what I call as all, it is not small, they are all, right, I will write it as, they are all assumed, they are all assumed to be plane parallel to each other, and also assumed to be large surface, large surfaces, I will write like that, large surfaces. Okay, this is the second point what I will take the assumption. The third one, the ripple space, you are having the ripple space is assumed to be field free region. Okay, the ripple space is assumed to be field free region. The fourth point, your anode cavity grid that will not intercept with the piercing electron beam. Okay, that is the anode cavity the anode cavity grid, but I told you the anode cavity grid does not intercept with the electron beam, that is piercing electron beam. Electron beam. And the last point, the last assumption what I will write is that is debunching of electron does not take place in the repulse space. Debunching of electron does not take place in the repulse space. Does not take place in the repulse space. So these are the 5 assumptions what you had to keep in mind while you are going to derive the maximum output power and efficiency of a repulse klystron oscillator. Okay. So I will write that one. So the electrons, as I told you, the electrons, they are accelerated by the anode positive voltage, because you are giving the positive voltage to the grid as well as to the filament as well as cathode gun. So what happens, the electrons will be accelerated by the anode potential voltage VA. So what happens, that at that time the potential energy is being fully converted into the kinetic energy. Okay. The electrons are accelerated by the anode potential, that is indicated by VA, so that the potential energy is fully converted into the kinetic energy. Okay. So I will write E into VA is nothing but half m V naught square, where V naught is nothing but the velocity of electron which is considered to be uniform. It is considered to be uniform. Okay. So I will call this as equation 1. Okay. I will call this as equation 1. So from this equation I can write V naught is nothing but root of 2E VA by m, which is nearly V naught is nothing but 0.593 into 10 raised to 6 into root VA meter per second. So this is nothing but the velocity of electron when it starts at rest from the cathode surface. Okay. Right. So this is the velocity of electron that is being which starts from the cathode surface at the rest, at the initial condition. Okay. Write that one. This is the velocity VLOCICT CITY, velocity of electrons when it starts at rest from the cathode surface. Okay. Okay. So the next thing what I have to write is the RF voltage, that is the that also you are given into the RF voltage is you are given to the reflex klystron oscillator, that is given by V1 sin omega t. Okay, that is the sustained RF voltage. Is the sustained RF voltage in the cavity. The sustained RF voltage in the cavity resonator tuned to be, that is being tuned to the fundamental frequency that is given by Vrf of t is nothing but V1 sin omega into t. V1 sin omega into t. Okay. Clear? I will call all this as equation 2. Which one? This 2 as equation 2. Okay. And I will call this as equation 3, because a lengthy equations we are going to derive it. So we have to write all these things. Okay. So I will write if D is the cavity gap, you just see that figure. Okay, D is the cavity gap, then the average transit time that is given by Tg, okay, of electron. The average transit time of electron, that is given by Tg equal to d by v naught second. Call this equation 4. And your transit angle, that is theta g, and transit angle, that is theta g, through the gap, THROUGH, through the gap, that is given by theta g, which is nothing but omega Tg, Tg radian. Okay, that I will call this equation 4 and equation 5. Okay, equation 4 and equation 5. Then what I will do it? So I will write the average RF voltage in the cavity gap, that is given by what? Vrf of average. Vrf of average is nothing but 1 by Tg integral 0 to Tg V1 sin omega t into Tt. Okay, I can take V1 outside from here. V1 by Tg integral of sin omega t is nothing but cos omega minus cos omega t, divided by omega 0 to Tg. That I can write that V1 by Tg into cos 0 1 minus cos omega Tg divided by omega. Okay, cos omega Tg divided by omega. I think it is clear. It's not. That is I will put this as from 0 to Tg. Okay, so that I can write it as V1 into omega tg is nothing but theta g. Just now only I have written omega tg is nothing but theta g. So this one, okay, equation 5. 1 minus cos theta g divided by theta g. So 1 minus cos theta is nothing but 2 sin square theta by 2 sin square theta g by 2 divided by theta g. So that becomes VRF of average is nothing but V1, I will take beta 1 sin theta g by 2. So where beta 1 is nothing but sin theta g by 2 divided by theta g by 2. Okay, any mistake here? Sin theta g by 2 divided by cosine square theta g by 2 b1 beta we should, because we should get v1 beta 1, I will write sin theta g by 2 divided by sin square theta g by 2 by theta g by 2. So theta g, 2 will be go outside. You can see that one. If you want, I will write here, because v1, because I have written beta 1 is nothing but sin theta g by 2 divided by theta g by 2 into sin theta g by 2. Okay, no change I have made, because that gives v1 sin square theta g by 2 divided by theta g by 2, which is nothing but 2, I will go in the outside, 2 v1 sin square theta g by 2 divided by theta g. Okay, this thing will get from here. So I will take beta 1 is nothing but sin theta g by 2 by theta g by 2, and this beta 1 is called as beam coupling coefficient. All right, that is why it is important. Beta 1, I will call this equation, what is the equation number? The previous equation number is nothing but 5. I will call this as equation 6. Call this equation as equation 6, and this as equation 7. Okay, so beta 1 is called as beam coupling coefficient. 1 minute. Beam coupling coefficient. COEFFICIENT of the cavity gap. Underline that word. Beam coupling coefficient of the cavity gap. Okay, so your coupling between the electron beam and the cavity resonator, so that will be varies with the cavity gap D by the equation 7. Okay, that is beta 1 is nothing but sin theta g by 2 by theta g by 2. I will write that also. The coupling, if you take that note, the coupling between the electron beam and the cavity resonator varies with the cavity gap D given by equation 7. Okay, given by equation 7. Okay, so you can write the exit velocity. So it is a lengthy process. It will take a lot of time. So I will in this video lecture I will put only the half of the section, because uploading it will take a lot of time. So I will take half of the session and the other half I will take in the end of the video. Okay. The coupling between the electron beam and the cavity resonator, that will be varies with the cavity gap T, that is being given by the equation 7, that is nothing but the equation for the beam coupling coefficient. Okay. So the electron, sorry, the exit velocity from the cavity, from the cavity gap after the velocity modulation is given by the exit velocity from the cavity gap after velocity modulation, that is given by V of Tg is nothing but root of what the previously we somewhere we have written, okay, 2e where is that one, exit velocity somewhere we have written here, okay, that is V naught is equal to 2e Va by m, the equation 2, okay. So here instead of what you call it as Va, I will write Va plus Vr of average, okay. 2e V of Tg is nothing but 2e into Va plus Vr of average divided by m, okay. So I will call this equation 8, okay. So you put equation 6, put equation 6, what is that equation 6, V1 beta 1 sin theta g by 2 in equation 8, in equation 8. So that you will get V of Tg is nothing but root of 2e by m into Va plus V1 beta 1 sin theta g by 2, okay, Vrf of beta by 1 beta 1 sin theta g by 2, okay. So that you will have root of, I will take 2e Va by, I will bring open the bracket by, that is 1 plus V1 beta 1 by Va, because I am taking Va outside, okay, Va sin theta g by 2, sin theta g by 2, better to put bracket here, not here, okay, clear. So now what I will do, so the equation, you can see that this portion is nothing but the depth of modulation, this one gives the depth of modulation, okay. So I will write that the quantity V1 beta 1 by Va is called the depth of modulation, is called the depth of modulation, okay. So I will write V of Tg is nothing but root of 2e Va by m, I will take that one outside, 1 plus V1 beta 1 by Va sin theta g by 2 raised to 1 by 2. Clear? So this is V1, okay, V1 beta 1, okay, that is clear. So one point I will write, since the first case itself we are written V1 is very much less than VA, so I will write the binomial. So the binomial expression in the previous case, as in case of reflux klystron, sorry, two cavity klystron, we are taking the binomial expansion, okay, or the binomial expansion. I will write that as binomial expansion. Expansion of term, that is inside the bracket, of term, 1 minute, of term inside square bracket so that will results in what I will neglect? Neglecting higher order terms. Neglecting higher order terms, okay. So what you will get? Tg is nothing but root of 2 EVA by m 1 plus V1 beta 1 by 2 VA sin theta g by 2, okay. So just go for the binomial expansion. I am not writing there, I will directly take the values from here, okay. So what is the equation? Now I have to put, previously I have put 8, now I will put it as 9, the 9th equation. So what you do it, you are having root of 2 EVA by m, that is nothing but V naught. This term is nothing but V naught, okay. So I will write, I have given I think it is nothing but equation number 2, okay. Using equation 2 in 9, we get velocity modulation. Keep in mind, okay, we get velocity modulation, that is V of Tg is nothing but this term is V naught 1 plus V1 beta 1 by 2 VA sin theta g by 2, called as equation 9, 10, okay. This is nothing but the equation for velocity modulation, keep in mind, okay. So now we have to calculate for the round trip transit time, that is given by that is round trip transit time in the Laplace space, that is I will write that is as t suffix t, which is nothing but 2 velocity divided by 2 into velocity divided by acceleration. That velocity is nothing but V of Tg divided by acceleration. So then only you can able to calculate the total power, okay. So that I will continue within the next video lecture, that is continuation of this portion itself, okay, in the next video lecture, okay. Thanks for watching this video. Thank you.